Hello Aries, so I'm doing your weekly tarot for June the 23rd to the 30th. I'm going to take a look at what is going on in your situation. We'll find out why it's happening. We're looking at anything going on in your blind spot, figuring out what it is that's working for you. And of course, we're seeing how it is likely going to play out with guidance and healing messages right at the end. Okay, right. So you have got the frog and detox, and it says emotional release, letting go, cleansing and purging. Now, here's the deal with this energy, okay? It's saying, what is it that you're needing to detoxify your life from? Or who is it that you're needing to disconnect from? Whenever we see this message, Aries, it heavily implies that there is something that either you're doing right now that isn't in your own highest interest, or there could be another person who is potentially trying to get you to go against what is ultimately going to serve your highest purpose. Okay, it is time to detox. Now this could be habits as well. Okay, so you know, we've all got our own things, right? Habits that are potentially harmful to us. It could be negative thinking, it could be like shopping, okay, retail therapy, and then we end up in financial trouble, or smoking too much, drinking too much, turn into the comfort food, okay. And anything and everything that is harmful to you is what's being highlighted this week, Aries. So it's really time to analyze what those things could be specifically for you, because it's going to be different for everyone, right? It's impossible that every single Aries on the planet is dealing with exactly the same situation at exactly the same time, right? So it is going to be different for everyone. For some, it could be a person who is keeping you in negativity, right? For whatever reason, right? Maybe they're overly controlling and domineering, right? For others, it could be, oh, actually, whenever I'm stressed, I turn to the booze because I don't have anything else as an outlet, okay? Or like literally anything. The list is literally endless. So it's time for you to focus this week on what it is that you're needing to detox yourself from, okay? This is going to require letting go, okay? Letting go of these habits, or letting go of these unhealthy people or influences, okay? It is a whole purging process, and it's going to require total and absolute honesty from you. First of all, identifying whatever this is that is harmful to you or whoever, being honest about what that is, and then being honest through this cleansing process. Okay, like, yeah, this is no good for me, that this is harmful, I have to get rid of this, I have to do something about this, okay? So yeah, total honesty from your part. It's combined with the buffalo and abundance. Now, this is arguably one of the best cards in this deck, okay? And it says generosity, supply, resources, and gifts. So when you detoxify yourself, your life, from whatever these harmful things are, you will find that that flow of abundance happens a lot easier for you. So basically, Aries, the combination of these two cards is saying, look, your energy right now is bottlenecked. We've identified the bottleneck for you, and now this is going to require work on your part to clear that bottleneck so that you can welcome in this abundance, which is an umbrella term for a lot of different things. You can welcome this into your lived experience, okay? Right, so let's get the tarot on this, and we'll see if we can dig a little bit deeper into this energy for you. And again, don't forget, we will pull guidance, healing and advice right at the end. Okay, right, so can you tell us more about this detox energy for Aries and this abundance that will follow? Okay, a little bit abrupt there, Aries. So I would say you can tell a lot about what's going on in someone's life by the way that the deck handles. Okay, there's definitely that abrupt vibe because I feel like you're taking the no bullshit approach, to be completely honest. I also suspect as well, Aries, that your patience with certain types of people this week is going to be wearing very thin. Okay, again, just with this no bullshit approach. So all of these cards have come out scattered. We're going to take a look at what they are. It's to do with this situation. Yeah, like the Eight of Swords as scattered energy. Knowing that something isn't moving in the direction that you need it to, something isn't growing, something is stuck. Okay, for all intents and purposes, the energy is stuck. You recognize that it's stuck. There's just confusion surrounding what you're needing to do about that, okay? Remember, the Eight of Swords can be a mental prison. It can be negative thoughts. It's that feeling of someone genuinely believing that they are stuck or that they have no other choice or they have no options. But in actual fact, they have a lot more choices and options than what they're able to see right in front of their face. At this point in time, it's the fog. Okay, Eight of Swords is fog energy, and it's a reminder, Aries, that you're not nearly as stuck as what you're possibly believing yourself to be this week. Okay, it also indicates, with it coming out as scattered energy, that solutions are on their way. Yeah, like the King of Cups, that's also off balance. So feeling either emotionally detached or emotionally overwhelmed. Okay, especially with that combination there, the Eight of Swords with the King of Cups, both of them scattered energy. One minute you could be feeling on top of the world, the next minute you could be feeling so utterly in despair. Okay, there is definitely something going on a deep emotional level, the catalyst of which I don't know yet because we've not looked at that yet. We're going to look at that next. It seems to be a bit of a circular issue. Okay, there's definitely that circular element to, oh look, the Queen of Cups, the counterpart to the King of Cups, right? This is another person. This is another person. The Queen of Cups and the King of Cups, two court cards of the exact same suit. Like, okay. Okay, so we know that it involves another person. Could be a romantic interest or anything along those lines. I need to pull out my other tarot deck here so we can dig a little deeper into that. Why is the Queen of Cups here with the King of Cups and they're both scattered energy? What is going on? Okay, the Five of Swords, that one's practically in the reversed position. It's not entirely reversed, but it's almost all the way there. I would have much preferred that to come out entirely reversed, okay? A reversed Five of Swords is really, really good because it implies there's no competition, there's nothing to worry about, something is being blown out of proportion, okay? In the upright is quite a different story, right? I tend not to like the Five of Swords in the upright because that would also imply that it's a no-win situation. With it being in this sort of orientation, it implies someone knows, so someone, either this King of Cups or Queen of Cups, where I suspect that you're one of these two people here, whichever one it is, that's your personal thing, okay, up for your discernment. One of these two people knows that they are in the right. Okay. It is a situation where a clear victory could be had, but someone is not taking the necessary action in order to secure their victory. Does that make sense? So it's like you could say something, you could do something that's going to help you out, yet you're choosing not to. Someone is choosing not to take the action that they're needing to take that is ultimately going to see to it that this abundance, again, umbrella term for anything that you're working towards, could be time, money, health, okay, is resources. Resources are not just about money. It's going to benefit you in the long term, right? Someone here is not taking the necessary action that's going to benefit themselves in the long term. It's kind of like biting your own tongue just to maintain the peace, but not realizing that it's actually self-harm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at the catalyst. Healing. The serpent and healing. Powerful magic, alchemy, and regeneration. It is literally saying the catalyst is some form of healing that has been needing to take place for a while, but it hasn't been done. It hasn't been taken care of, right? If you can imagine, and anyone who owns snakes or has had snakes in the past, when that snake starts to shed its skin, it'll typically hide away in the vivarium, right? Because it feels super vulnerable while it's shedding that skin. It feels vulnerable because shedding that skin, it's a lot of work. And it's really itchy for the snake, and it makes it feel really uncomfortable. And it possibly even hurts, right? So that snake is going to hide away. Now, there's a lot to be said for that, because ultimately it needs to shed its skin. That it is the most natural thing that the snake is going to experience. It has to shed that skin. It means that it's grown, right? It cannot keep a hold of that old skin, so it has to go through the difficulties, the uncomfortableness, the itchiness, maybe even the pain. And I do believe that they do experience the pain as well when they're shedding that skin. They have to go through all of that in order to reap the benefits of, fuck me, now I'm a bigger snake. Now I can go hunt the bigger prey because I am a bigger snake, right? At the moment it's going through that, though, it's probably not thinking about what it's going to gain, because the only thing it can think about in that moment is, man, this hurts. Oh, this is awkward. Oh, it's making me really uncomfortable, right? So the catalyst is someone, again, either you or another person that you're dealing with, either this Queen of Cups or the King of Cups, whichever, is not doing the work. Okay, so that's why it's coming out as catalyst. Let's take a deeper dive into that one. Can you tell us more? It's also possible as well, Aries, that perhaps one of yous is doing the work or has done the work, and the other one is lagging behind. Okay, that's also possible, because we see two individuals here that are, what I can make out, not necessarily seeing eye to eye with each other, not necessarily on the same page. Maybe goals, aspirations, dreams for the future, maybe these things are changed. Okay, one person is changing or has changed, and the other one is lagging way behind. Okay, can you tell us more about this healing as a catalyst, please, for Aries Collective? Oh, okay. Interesting. The Hermit, the Six of Swords, and the King of Pentacles. Yeah. honestly, Aries, it's showing me that only one of you is going to successfully manage this part of the journey. Okay, and with this being your reading, the chances are higher that it's actually you that manages to successfully do the work. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm reading for you. I'm not reading for your other person, even though clearly there is another person here. I'm not reading for them. I'm reading for you. Now, I'm understanding this energy here as the Hermit with the Six of Swords. You are on a bit of a quest. Okay, I don't really like to use that word because it's got other implications, right? There is something here to do with your own spiritual journey, right? The Hermit, I know a lot of people tend to forget, the Hermit isn't just the major arcana card for a Virgo, and that's it, end of story, full stop. It can imply a lot of things, and the main thing that a lot of people forget is it can imply that someone is on a bit of a pilgrimage, aka they are on their own spiritual growth journey, right? Because bearing in mind, the Hermit energy is about that self-mastery and the journey that took to get to the whole self-mastery part, right? It requires a person who knows themselves on such a deep level where, you know, that they've done the shadow work, they've done the inner work, they also are able to apply the wisdom that they have learnt along the way towards further growth, further healing, and, you know, all that good stuff. So we see here with this combination that clearly you are doing the work, and I feel that this is you that is a few steps ahead of the game or ahead of the curve than another person that you're dealing with. Is that there's also a message here with this King of Pentacles, right? It's a very practical energy. It's all about being the leader or taking that leadership role. It's about viewing your healing journey and your spiritual journey as a business, as something that is very serious to you, very important to you, okay? And the fact, I'm also seeing that you're coming out of the fog as well. You're coming out of the confusion, so you're able to see or acknowledge certain things about your own life and about the way that other people do things, and you're seeing where there's a mismatch, okay? That's the catalyst. There is now a mismatch or a misalignment between yourself and another person because you've done that work on yourself, because you have grown. You might have outgrown this person, or you have outgrown the way that you used to do things that involved certain other people, right? That's now no longer applicable, okay? And it's a permanent change as well, with that being King of Pentacles energy. So it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, okay? We're not on about gender here. The court cards are literally aspects of our own personalities in any given moment, okay? So blind spot, the Raven and magic, ritual, divination, spellwork, and magicians. It's magician energy, right? A little bit of cause and effect here that's going on in your blind spot, Aries. Ultimately, I'm seeing with this one, with the word magician, right? That's someone who puts their intentions out into the universe. They then put the action behind their intentions, so they give themselves the best chance possible at success. I'm feeling here like you have been putting something out into the universe and you are receiving a response back, and the response that you receive is in your favor, okay, with that Page of Cups energy. Can you tell us more about Aries' blind spot? What awaits them the Four of Wands. I love how I asked what awaits them, and then you get the Four of Wands. This is a celebration, okay? It's ultimate stability, because it's the Four of Wands. It can imply community as well. You meeting your people, you meeting people who are on your level, a community who gets you, who understands you. You could be helping out a community here as well with this combination. Maybe that's connected to the intentions that you've been putting out here. It's very possible. I'm not going to take anything off the table. I try to keep an open mind as possible. Eight of Wands, off balance. It goes directly against someone else's wishes, though, with the Eight of Wands coming out off balance. Okay. I feel, yeah, okay, there it is, the Devil. I feel here like someone else is really being quite selfish, okay? I'm not convinced that it's you. I am certain, going by this energy, we've got someone freaking out and panicking that they're losing you in some capacity, okay? Again, it's not always going to be romantic, okay? But basically, I was going to say something else, but I decided against it. I was going to say they've got a bit of a stick up their ass because they're assuming that you now believe that you're better than them, and that's not what's going on at all. Okay, like you don't believe that you're better than this person. It's just like their perception of the whole situation. It's with this combination here, okay? Like there's a bit of nastiness here. There is a bit of spite. There is a bit of jealousy, okay? And with it being in your blind spot, it's even more telling, because this is someone who is trying to hide the fact that they disagree with the new approach or the new direction that you're taking in your life, because they believe that you're leaving them behind. I mean, they're a little bit right with the part of they believe that you're leaving them behind. They are correct about that bit. Their own perception is skewing everything else, though. You do know that the Eight of Wands off balance can indicate sabotage, right? And for their own selfish reasons, because it's with the Devil. So, yeah. Uncomfortable reading, uncomfortable viewing. However, knowledge is also power. So with this Magician energy, use that knowledge wisely, okay? Use that knowledge to make firm decisions here for the foundations of the rest of your future. Okay, with that Page of Cups and the Four of Wands. Basically, imagine this is your boat, and this person is like, yeah, I want to come with you, Aries. Let's go on a journey together. Let's go on an adventure together. But then as soon as your back's turned, they're drilling holes in your boat. All right? And then they're like, ha, look, Aries, looks like we're not going to get there after all. You got holes in your boat. Well, if that person wasn't on your boat, then you wouldn't have holes in your boat, right? They're the ones that did it. Okay, that's literally this energy right here. You can see that for yourself. So, yeah. You have to be certain that you can trust absolutely everyone that is in your sphere of influence this week in particular, okay? Because you're going to need support, not hidden enemy, okay? Right, so let's take a look at what is working for you. Look, the sea otter and kinship. Like, didn't I literally just say that? You need people around you that you can trust. If you have doubt about literally anybody this week, Aries, you tell them nothing, okay? Because again, remember with that hermit energy, okay, the hermit doesn't just willy-nilly tell people their business. The hermit is very, very smart. Not because they're naturally distrustful, but because they're very wise. Okay, loose lips sink ships. End of. Soul connections, supportive relationships, and confidants for what is working for you. I think that's enough said. Right, so let's take a deeper dive into this one. Can you tell us more for what is working for Aries at this time, please? Oh, chaotic energy. Definitely chaotic energy. You got the Ten of Cups. Close connections. Keep your circle small. Okay, Aries, keep it very, very small. This is very close connections. This is emotional support, emotional stability. This could be friends, family. There's like a seamless vibe, okay? So those around you need to blend in with you seamlessly, okay? Yeah, the moon, emotions, some sort of repressed emotions here. Oh, they're saying be honest about your repressed emotions to your closest, your nearest, your dearest, okay? Be honest about your repressed emotions. That's like making sense of the things that you're afraid of and being able to see the opportunities, even while things are very confusing, okay? So, yeah, ultimately, when you speak to your closest, they will be able to offer you different perspectives that you might not have even considered. And with that comes solutions that you might not have thought were possible, okay, with the moon and the Ace of Pentacles. Right, how this is likely going to play out, the egg and births, yeah, so it's likely going to play out in such a way where you start to open up a new chapter of your life, because the egg is a symbol for new life, okay, new lifestyle. It says new projects, ideas, fresh start, and innocence. It's kind of like the Fool energy in your traditional tarot, okay? It's the start of something new that needs to be guarded, protected, and it can only be protected by you, okay? It's very vulnerable and fragile because it's an egg, okay? So keep this metaphorical egg of yours safe from any incoming attackers here, okay? Can you tell us more about this new life for Aries? Whoa. The Knight of Wands. Feeling inspired. With this being how it's likely going to play out, you will feel like you have more energy, you've more time, you're taking the initiative here as well to start something new, feeling excited about the possibility of what might happen instead of being afraid of something not working out here, okay? So that there's a whole mind shift that's going on, and then you've got death, which is change and transformation, which does require that letting go and release. It's the same as that frog energy, okay? If you recall, emotional release, letting go, cleansing and purging. Very, very similar to this death card, right? You have to go through that process, though. You're not going to be able to skip a step, okay? Also with this death is a rebirth, is a metaphorical rebirth. So you've got egg, Knight of Wands, and then the metaphorical rebirth. So what do you suppose is going to be the end result here, Aries? You're going to come out of this situation much, much different. Like a transformed version of yourself, okay? Strongest overall energy for the week is the Two of Pentacles, which is keeping everything in balance, right? It's checks and balances here that need to be made. Potentially, maybe some compromise is being made along the way, but without you compromising yourself, okay? There is a balance here, okay? Now, traditionally, that's about juggling, multitasking, or like you feeling that potential of becoming overwhelmed, but somehow managing to keep a hold of your shit, right? It can be two streams of income as well. Maybe you're having to work on a second stream of income. Maybe you find something here that that helps you with your financial situation, okay, with the Two of Pentacles. But ultimately, it's that balancing act, okay? It's that act of, I get what I want out of this situation without me having to overwork myself, without me having to compromise my own beliefs, right? Anything like that. Knight of Pentacles, and look how it's come out. Off balance, almost in the reverse, but not quite, okay? This is freedom from restrictions, okay? If it's in the upright, I'd be saying something else entirely different, but it was almost in the reverse. So blockages are being removed, and they're being removed by you, okay? Under there's the Emperor, your major arcana. So you've shown up strong in your own reading there, Aries, okay? You're sitting firmly in the driver's seat this week, which is what we like to see. Okay, let's take a look at some healing and guidance messages for you. Have some healing for Aries, please. Okay. Oh, nice big jump. Cleansing. Moonrise and cleansing. Well, isn't that appropriate for everything that we've just seen? Oh, moonrise. Let me see. Where is this one? Number 84. Okay. Let's take a look. Right, so it says, drawing this card suggests that you've been through a very difficult situation from which you're finally now emerging. Even though you're nearing the end of this challenging period of your life, or perhaps you're already there, you still have energetic cords or attachments that you need to clear from your life. Think of them as energetic debris that needs to be washed away by time and intention. Just as we can see the moon rise nearly every night in the sky, so you too are nearly always able to process upsets with some effort. You need to carry out this cleansing of your body, mind and spirit, or you risk remaining stuck in the past. That's literally what your entire read has been about, Aries. That cleansing, purging, cutting ties, okay, growth. Sit under the moonbeams and ask her to cleanse you. You can ask Archangel Michael to cut your cords to the past. Take regular salt baths. Most importantly, you set the intention that you're cleansing yourself of the past so that you may face a happier present and a brighter future. Once you're cleansed, you can start over in a way that you may not have even believed was possible. Additional meanings for this card. Something in this situation needs to be cleared. You can use sage to clear your home energetically. You are emerging cleansed. Integrity and truth will win the day. Be kind but also honest. Okay? So yeah, I mean, it's fairly self-explanatory there, Aries. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by trying to dissect the meaning of that card any further, okay? It's literally confirmation of everything that we've already seen in your tarot, okay? Right, so let's take a look at some cheeky words of wisdom from the Shitty Tarot, just for a little bit of light-hearted fun. And this one says, if they respect you, respect them. If they disrespect you, still respect them. Do not allow the actions of shitty people to change who you are, because you represent yourself and not others. So that's basically, don't lower yourself down to someone else's shitty level, okay? Because you do represent yourself, they represent themselves. Remembering that when people treat us like crap, they're basically telling us who they are, okay? And it's not a reflection of who you are at all. If you want to be iconic and legendary, then you shouldn't focus on shit or be around people who just talk shit and stir up shit. Yeah, again, appropriate. But yeah, that is what I have for you guys today. I genuinely hope that that reading has been helpful. For personal readings with me, my website is phoenixkeiatarot.com. The link for that is in my description box below. And also, Aries, if you have found this reading helpful for you, I definitely would appreciate a cheeky wee like, or even better, if you would subscribe to my channel as well if you haven't already. We would absolutely love it for you to join our wonderful community over here over on YouTube. But yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.